he feels threatened by some of this technology, particularly around payment systems, because banks make money transferring assets. It's a cost of friction in the system. And one of the only reasons that I invested in Circle, and I'm an investor in Circle, I'm supporting their initiative, and I'm a big believer in what stablecoins can do, is it's time to get rid of that friction. And it's not important that banks be protected so that they can make fees from that friction. When you transfer the US dollar into the Swiss franc to buy Nestle on the Zurich exchange, these banks add zero value. There's no value created in ACH transfer fees. If we could use a stablecoin that was regulated and approved by both sides of that transaction, it would be more transparent, it would be much faster, it would definitely be more productive, but above all, I would save millions of dollars. And so would everybody else. I can't wait till we can do that, because that kind of innovation should be supported, and it is. And that's why we're all here. This isn't about, speculation on asset price. This is about reducing the fees of how the world's economies work. More transparent, more productive, completely auditable, regulated, but less expensive. So does Jamie Dimon feel threatened? You're damn right he does. That's a big part of how he makes money. Too bad.
What's up guys, Kevin Cage here with another crypto update. In today's video, we're going to dive into some XRP news, some price charts, and some crypto information. If you have yet to see my previous video I uploaded yesterday going over Casper, I highly recommend checking that out. So first and foremost, we're looking at the total market cap of all of cryptocurrency, including Bitcoin, this entire asset class. We can see that we had a beautiful bull run from the bottom of the March 2020 crash all the way to the market top last November of 2021 with over a 2,600% move for all of crypto. Since then, in this bear market, and the good news is I believe that we are more than halfway through this bear market, we can see from that high, we've crashed about 74%. Notice a perfect backtest, the wick right there to the previous high. Now, is that enough, or do we in fact go lower? And we have one more move to the downside that could serve as that spring. Me personally, I believe it's entirely possible that we've already bottomed back here in June. But there are a lot of mixed signals in this market right now in today's global macroeconomic environment. So whether you're bullish or bearish, I completely respect your opinion. Looking at the crypto total market cap excluding Bitcoin, so all of altcoins including ETH, let me get rid of this wake off accumulation. We do have some crazy open liquidity gaps. So see how we have a gap in liquidity right there? This is on the daily time frame. And if you wanted to search this ticker is Total2 on TradingView, which is free to use, and that's linked in the video description. So that is a crazy gap that is open, and that is about 22, give or take $23 billion. And that's a crazy gap. I also know that we have gaps on price charts, including silver, and I'm not sure if those will ever close. Now here's the ontology or ONT price chart. Here's an example of a massive flash crash, and the wick just goes all the way to zero, closes any and all gaps, and then comes right back up. So we have the XRP price chart right here on the left-hand side. We're also going to dive into a bunch of XRP news, so please stick around. We have QNT on the right-hand side. Now looking at XRP, thus far, we can see that we have pumped coming up to these previous levels, or these wicks in that double bottom. Now drawing a Fibonacci retracement for QNT from its all-time high price all the way to its low, we can see that we've made it up to the 382 Fibonacci retracement to absolute perfection. So we can see right there, that's the high to the low of June, and we've recovered up to the 382 right there. And previously, we also challenged the 236 right there, then turned it right into support and began our ride upward. Now looking at XRP across the board, we've been using this March-April high for a variety of assets, and we have in fact made it to the 382 Fibonacci retracement right there. But let's also compare it to its 2021 high versus QNT. So just remember that QNT made it to the 236 Fibonacci retracement, came right back down, and then pushed all the way up to the 382. The 236 Fibonacci retracement for the XRP price chart is approximately 68 cents. You can see the zone is a key level. We have wicks, we have right there resistance, backtest, wicks, all the way down. I know we drew a symmetrical triangle right there a while back, just a measured move, and that's what we did for API 3 well over a year ago as well. Now what's really interesting for me is I have my price alert set for XRP. QNT's RSI is approaching right here at this level at 70. This pierces, oh baby, some volume and momentum could absolutely fly. Now I still hold QNT and I'm really happy about its price performance, but for me personally, entering now, I don't really prefer to. I mean, yes, it could rocket if that RSI comes up, but I'd much rather focus on something that's still a bit lower down here. Well below retracements, maybe 30% or 100% up from its all-time low, rather than 350% up. So here's a quick example of Telcoin on the weekly price chart, and I just want you to look at this RSI, all of this just popping, and this is when we get those huge impulses and just tons of momentum carries forward. Tel did over a 500x return. Now, of course, its market cap was so tiny, the supply was a lot smaller. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying when we see the RSI on a higher time frame, like a weekly time frame piercing that level, big moves can in fact happen. And we've been using the Telcoin chart on the weekly time frame since this happened back in January of 2021, because I think it's just a perfect textbook example of the RSI piercing on a weekly time frame. Once again, just referencing, Swift completes tokenized experiments, and this was just in October. Volumes could reach $24 trillion by 2027. And this is talking about tokenizing assets. So 4 to 5 years away from 2027, volumes could reach $24 trillion. Now, this is not market cap, this is referencing volume. And the higher the volume and the liquidity, as I say right here, the better for the future of tokenization and the hundreds of new use cases that come with it. Liquidity begets liquidity. And just remember, a few years ago, we didn't even have total value locked. We didn't have a world of DeFi where there was $100 billion locked up on a variety of chains. We went from 0 to 1 billion to 100 billion. I am a huge believer in the crypto asset class. There are so many use cases behind this. Of course, it's easy to be a hater when alts are down 90%. It's easy to be a perma bear during a bear market, which we've been in for about a year. But this too will pass, and I know that everybody that's experienced maybe at least 2 cycles can relate. Now, this is crazy. Stefan, I just followed this gent. This is no conspiracy. The SEC right here not only wants to exclude people with less than $10 million investing in pre-IPOs, Gary Gensler also wants only these multimillionaires to be able to own and trade crypto. And I know we are raised to believe that the SEC is supposed to serve the people and be public servants, but I think they forgot that a long time ago. And this is not financial advice, but I think it's pretty evident at this point, if you've been in crypto, that the SEC and a lot of these government officials have no interest in protecting and serving the people. This is about letting the rich and powerful retain their power, let the rich get richer, and further widen the wealth gap. Another step closer to Flare Networks, just sharing this is on livecoinwatch.com, and you can look at the Flare price. Remember that it is no longer called Spark. So 56 cents today. I'm very curious if people are going to be dumping their bags when they get their distribution or their initial 15%, because remember the snapshot was December 2020. I understand everybody's frustration. I'm waiting too, and I'm excited for XLS20 for the XRP ledger because I still believe that NFTs are going to be massive. And the XRP ledger is working on automated market makers and DeFi to actually compete with other layer ones. Super cool. And before diving into some XRP information, I just wanted to note that I would love for iTrustCapital to add HBAR now that HBAR is officially on Coinbase and should be available on Coinbase custody if not already. Remember that Fireblocks and Coinbase custody are behind iTrustCapital, which is a $1 billion valued company or a unicorn. And Fireblocks added HBAR back in 2020. So I think HBAR will be listed in the future, if not by end of year. QNT already supported on Coinbase custody. Check. I think they can list that whenever, depending on liquidity requirements. And I don't think that's going to be a problem now that QNT is a top 30 project, has absolutely exploded with incredibly high trading volume, a really big community behind them. I would also love Casper, supported by BitGo, one of the biggest custodians that also supports XRP, DAG, API3, a variety of altcoins. So just remember, this is linked right in the YouTube video description. This is 100% free, and if you use my link, you also get $100 in free Bitcoin after funding your account. There are no monthly fees with iTrustCapital. This is for a cryptocurrency 401k or a Roth IRA. The benefit of a Roth IRA is everything is 100% tax-free. Make $1 million, I pay 0% in capital gains, in a world where capital gains taxes could be changing in the future and only getting higher. So linked in the video description, I've been with them since January of 2020. Right here, Wrath Economan, an absolute must follow, sharing some Ripple news from the Copenhagen Business School right here, an article about crypto valuations noting Ripple's value in comparison to Swift. Now remember, Ripple just put out some news about Sweden and Thailand for ODL usage, the first ODL corridors in Sweden. So they are expanding every single day, and they have a run rate of $15 billion per year. So for any noobs or haters of XRP to say that XRP is a scam coin, that's a complete joke, because if you did any research at all, you would understand that XRP is being sent by real financial institutions like Tranglo in Singapore, like Novati, different areas in the MENA region. We have the largest bank in Egypt, There are already hundreds of partners, and you could argue thousands if you wanted to make a stretch with different integrations. So Novati right here, Ripple user has been clear, and they're expanding into Southeast Asia, where Ripple has a 70% stake in Tranglo. For me, ODL is evident, and I think it's already a global takeover just behind the scenes. We had Ashish Birla a long time ago quoting that we are close to global coverage for on-demand liquidity, which specifically uses XRP. So the Philippine peso and the THB is the Thai baht of Thailand. So you can see Southeast Asia via RippleNet, where Malaysia, Cambodia, Indonesia have been mentioned by Novati representatives. You have companies like Novati and others actually filing their information to the SEC to show utility behind XRP, which is amazing. Now remember from XRP Marshall a while ago showing an Uber connection, and I know we've seen documents in the past where Ripple actually had slides showing Uber and Amazon. We can see right here, now bank with Uber beneficiary list with just a few banks on RippleNet. So you can see ATB Financial, they actually tested XRP in a live transaction with Reese Bank. So I think, don't quote me on this, but ATB, I believe, is Canadian, and then Reese Bank is a German bank. So we can see RippleNet, oh, there's Reese Bank right there. So RippleNet, UBS, think of the inducted Hall of Custodians or the Hall of Fame guy on PolySign, side by side, the creator of the XRP ledger, Arthur Brito. Zuho, M-Pesa, I mean, you could talk about XLM, Algo. There's a variety of connections for a few of these guys. Now remember that eBanks, which is already a huge Ripple partner, also teamed up with the company Uber back in November last year to be the exclusive payments processor for Pix, the Brazilian instant payment network overseen by the Central Bank of Brazil. And this is what I'm referencing. Besides FOMOPay and additional collaborations in ODL right there, we have TravelX Bank, the first bank registered and approved by the Central Bank of Brazil to operate exclusively in the foreign exchange market through its partnership with Ripple using ODL. So when I think of Singapore, I think ODL. When I think of all of Southeast Asia, ODL. When I think of Novati in Australia, I think ODL. Now I'm thinking Sweden, I'm thinking Egypt, I'm thinking QNB, another national bank. I'm thinking the UAE, and of course I'm thinking of Brazil, one of the BRICS nations. And yes, they are using ODL with TravelX Bank, approved by the Central Bank of Brazil. Ripple was meeting with the Central Bank of Brazil back in 2020. Next up by Bull D-Up, so we have Dilip Rao. He's the former Ripple executive right here. We can see the white paper for the Australian Central Bank Digital Currency Project, which has been sponsored by RBA, the Australian Central Bank. So Dilip Rao is a huge XRP ledger proponent, and very cool to see him in very high-tiered positions. And here's an example, James Filan. So we have two RippleNet users, iRemit and TapJets right here, requesting to file to support the company Ripple against the SEC. This is great. Showing the utility behind XRP actually saving them money. And even Novati has shared their revenue and their savings thanks to XRP. So that makes me think that XRP should be a utility token, a currency, a commodity, a payment token, not a security. It does not fulfill the Howey test for security regulation that was made 80 years ago before the internet. The SEC has to get with it and create modern regulation, modern guidelines so that people can regulate a new asset class with new technology. Now you think that would be common sense, but the SEC sure is dragging their feet here in the US. You can see another official partner of Ripple right here by Crypto Eddie, Web3 Design Lab, providing design services that realize business transformation by making the most of growth areas such as XR, Metaverse, and NFTs. They plan to help companies grow in the Japanese market. Awesome. I saw Derek and Stefan sharing this, and Stefan has been sharing some awesome info. So he shares Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank, and listen to what he says. If you hold XRP, you have to listen to this clip.
Jamie Dimon really continued to beat down on it. He said very recently that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are nothing but a decentralized Ponzi scheme.
Yep. So let me qualify my statements on this because I'm an investor in JP as well. I have a lot of respect for him. He may be one of the most successful banking managers in the history of that sector. However, that was an uninformed statement. And it was not helpful at a time when we're trying to drive regulation through two different bills on the Hill right now. I, along with many other private investors, have been spending a lot of time in Washington on this. Essentially what Jamie said there, he was talking his book. This is my interpretation. He feels threatened by some of this technology, particularly around payment systems, because banks make money transferring assets. It's a cost of friction in the system. And one of the only reasons that I invested in Circle, and I'm an investor in Circle, I'm supporting their initiative, and I'm a big believer in what stablecoins can do, is it's time to get rid of that friction. And it's not important that banks be protected so that they can make fees from that friction. When you transfer the US dollar into the Swiss franc to buy Nestle on the Zurich exchange, these banks add zero value. There's no value created in ACH transfer fees. If we could use a stablecoin that was regulated and approved by both sides of that transaction, it would be more transparent, it would be much faster, it would definitely be more productive, but above all, I would save millions of dollars. And so would everybody else. I can't wait till we can do that, because that kind of innovation should be supported, and it is. And that's why we're all here. This isn't about, speculation on asset price. This is about reducing the fees of how the world's economies work. More transparent, more productive, completely auditable, regulated, but less expensive. So does Jamie Dimon feel threatened? You're damn right he does. That's a big part of how he makes money. Too bad.
Next up, so XRP Darren sharing this, and I had to bookmark this, and I wanted to share it in a video because I was literally laughing out loud. The XRP army versus Charles when they were all fighting. Look at this. And I like Charles. He's entitled to his opinion. I'm not holding any, ill will for different thoughts and opinions of different communities. But here's an example of the emotional maturity of crypto investors. And when I was a kid, I thought, kids were petty. I didn't realize adults were so petty as well. That Cardano from its March 2020 low did, well over a 150x return. Now, I want to point out, everybody that bought here, they love Charles. But anybody that bought up here toward the top and were completely new to crypto, they've never experienced a bear market, they point their finger and they hate Charles as the market crashes. So I could imagine that Charles is under a lot of stress, and the thing is, Twitter is so toxic. Everybody's going to hate on you, especially if you are leading a crypto project and you're doing something that requires so much fortitude. So imagine the stress that he's going through leading a project and some of the rude comments or, hate speech that he receives on a daily basis. Every single crypto YouTuber or every crypto person on Twitter, they get attacked all day. There's so many negative comments, guys. It's nonstop. So just imagine what it's like for Charles leading a crypto project. So of course, eventually you're going to get kind of pissed and feel a little sassy, so I don't blame him one bit. Because I did see some really rude comments and threats from the XRP community, and I did not like that. It was really disheartening. But I also know that could just be a few bad apples that are in a bad place and they want to point their finger at somebody else. Because I believe there's a lot of great people in this community, and I think they outnumber any bad apples. Another from Wrath Economan right here, a number of XRP Ledger stablecoins. Look at this. USDS, we have the Euro, we have Zago, XUS, we have Palau, remember their central bank digital currency pilot. You have the Australian UDC right here with Novati. And these are all on top of the XRP Ledger, guys. Stablecoin to Palau's first digital currency. Also shared by Cashout, man, love this. So remember the clip I just showed you that Stefan shared talking about Jamie Dimon of JP Morgan. We'll read this from 2018, JP Morgan's opinion on Ripple, and then we'll call it a day. We note that the speed, cost, and liquidity characteristics of Ripple, remember back in the day they called XRP Ripple, by the way, for anybody new, have made it the most appealing digital asset for financial institutions for application at scale. Ripple has already received acceptance within the financial community. And remember that FinCEN also called XRP a virtual currency back in 2015. And Ripple also paid fines back in the day. You can type in, FinCEN, XRP virtual currency. You can type in this title right there to read it yourselves. We've talked about this a lot a few years ago. But yeah, I think that personally, not financial advice, guys, because I am not an attorney, but I personally believe that XRP comes out on top. Yes, maybe they'll pay some fines for early sales or things like that. And I hold ETH and I love it, but I also think that what they did with the ETH Foundation is incredibly sketchy, and you can't really hide the corruption that's been going on between some of these institutions and government agencies that I think they should also pay fines. It's crazy there's such a double standard, and XRP is the black sheep in crypto. When all is said and done and it gets regulatory clarity on a go-forward basis, everybody that hates XRP will be thanking XRP and the company Ripple in the years ahead. If you enjoyed this video, I'd greatly appreciate hitting the like button and subscribing. Let me know your thoughts down below. And as always, my link tree is linked right in the top of this YouTube video description with all links, crypto resources, and discounts. I'll catch you in the next one.